So Barry saying repeatedly they're comfortable with Deshaun, the person, with what they learned about the cases, a 5-month process, he said, a decision that he feels will be positive for the organization when all is said and done. What was your impression of this presser as a whole?
I think, first of all, the Cleveland media, the Cleveland reporters did a tremendous job of asking very difficult questions, so I want to give them kudos. Two, I wish the owner was there. Jimmy Haslam was there to handle some of these difficult questions. He obviously had a part in this decision. A couple of things that stood out to me were the 5-month time frame. You know, the fact that they've been looking, 5 months puts us at November. Right, in the middle of the NFL season. I know Andrew Berry, their general manager, said that's kind of customary.
What does that say about Baker Mayfield, though, and their thought process at the time as they were declining to pick up his 5th-year option?
Yeah,
he was injured, playing with a separated shoulder.
That they had already decided to move on, that they wanted an upgrade, and it was going to be somebody other than Baker Mayfield. So Andrew Berry kept saying, we got to a point where we were comfortable with Deshaun Watson, the person, and we feel good about Deshaun Watson, the person. And I want to put myself in the locker room. And what I would want to know if I was in that locker room is what? Like, what did you find out, or why did you feel confident and comfortable about Deshaun Watson and him as the person? Because if I'm in that locker room, I'm sharing my life basically with him. And I'm a person who's married, and I'm the son of a mother, and I'm married, and I've got a daughter. And I want to know, you know, he didn't really give me the why they got to a point of being comfortable. And that's what I would want to know. And then Deshaun made the comment of, you know, I want to earn the trust of the community. I think that has to be in lockstep with earning the trust of your locker room. And I think it's going to be hard necessarily to do that for some guys, because we heard them get pressed with some of the questions. And he said, well, I can't really go into the details because
it's still 22 civil lawsuits out there.
Yeah, and it's just hard for me to get to that point of trust, I feel, if that's going to be the answer that I'm going to get in the locker room. And
you may never get that answer.
Correct. And I just think that's going to be something that will be probably his greatest challenge, is building that trust with teammates, because we heard the reporters say there's going to be fans and there's going to be people that no matter what you say are not going to get past that. And I think that's a very real thing. But I just wanted to hear, that was the big thing that I kept writing down, because you know, Andrew Berry said comfortable with the person, feel good about the process, faith in the person, but there's still work to do. I just want to know what, because he said there wasn't necessarily a moment time frame wise. I want to know
where they felt comfortable.
Yeah, what happened, because he said we got that thorough investigation and a full perspective. I think when you are bringing, you know, everything that you're absorbing with this situation into your building on a daily basis and in your locker room, you don't necessarily owe it to everybody that they get every single thing that you know. But golly, they got to feel comfortable as well, because they're investing just as much of their life in it as you are, as a Deshaun Watson is for that organization.
Right, standing behind him. It was interesting when he was pressed about the $1 million of this $230 million guaranteed, just $1 million in that first season, and how bad the optics are, because he could be facing a suspension by the NFL for violating their code of conduct. It could be 6 games. It could be more.
Yeah.
And the fact that this contract was set up so that Watson would not be hurt financially, but Andrew Berry, again, he gave another explanation for that. He said, we need that money for other contracts. He mentioned Baker Mayfield. They're going to have to assume some of that money before they let him go. What did you think about that portion of the explanation?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's one of those situations where talent breeds tolerance. And it's, you know, that Deshaun is such a spectacular player that to go acquire him, and again, that's where I think the 5-month time frame comes into this a little bit, because they have made this decision long ago.
So that's revelatory. They're not going to hire an independent investigation, as he said they did, a thorough investigation, and go through all of that if they didn't want him. What about Deshaun Watson? I know, because we don't have a ton of time, but Watson said again and again, I have never assaulted, harassed, or disrespected any woman in my life. He said he has no regrets. And he said the lawsuits came to him as a surprise. What did you think of what he had to say, how he comported himself today?
Yeah, I think that he was very, you know, cautious of saying anything that would become, you know, legally that could be used. I'm not here to say whether he's innocent or not. I think it's hard to say no regrets. I think it's hard to say that given the reality of the accusations and the severity of them. Again, whether true or not, guilty or innocent, it's a reality for a year that you have to become a better human being from. Whether you believe you did anything wrong or not, to learn from and grow from and be better from what seems to be not good situation.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.